What if your body was a gift and contribution to your life and not something that you've been stuck with? What if your body could change quickly and easily? Right Body for You will inspire you and show you a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Now here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome everybody to Right Body for You, a different kind of radio show with your different kind of host, Donnielle. That's me. I get to talk with you guys each week about your bodies and the capacities with your body, your capacities, and basically your life. You know, I'm asked all the time, what is Right Body for You? Because it is the radio show you're listening to. It's also a book. It's also a program. It's also workshops that work with the Access Consciousness tools. And I get to facilitate them all over the world and weekly with you. And, you know, Right Body for You is an interesting, unique program, idea, tools. You know, it's not even an easy, one-word description of what it is. For me, it's some of the quickest and easiest change with your body that I've ever seen possible. And let me tell you, I've seen a lot over the years. I've been working in health talk radio since I was 12 years old, okay? So that's somewhere around 30 years for those of you who could do math. And that I've been working with health talk radio shows, health individuals, nutritionists, herbalists, homeopathists, doctors, you name it, I know it. And it's been interesting because Right Body for You and Access Consciousness Schools are the first thing that ever said to me, well, hey, that may be what you want to look like or you want to eat, but what about your body? What does your body want to eat? What does your body desire to look like or wear? And I literally was dumbfounded. I went, huh? What? My body? You know, and for those of you who know my story, it was a moment where I went, I have a body? But then past that, it was like, wait a minute, my body has a point of view. My body has an idea, a preference. It has input. And for me, that was an original concept. 30 years of health talk radio shows, health talk individuals, and it was the first time I'd ever heard taking the body into an account for the creation of it, as well as the creation of your life, because it goes so much beyond that. You know, so what is Right Body for You? The creation of your life with the content of your body, okay? And yes, your body and stuff gets to change along the way, gets to heal, gets to even get sick sometimes. What if getting sick wasn't exactly a wrongness or a problem that we've decided it is in this society, okay? And this is what Right Body for You is all about, is being willing to see a different point of view about everything, including the things you've deemed as wrong before, okay? And what's interesting, so this is today's topic of the show. What change have you already given up on? I laugh at this now because we're so cute. Now, I spend the majority of my life now working with people, helping them to create change in their life, helping them and assisting them to change their body, change their life, change. Something's in there. And, you know, and I do this with myself and my own body and my own life as well. And so why I said we're cute is, where are the things we've already decided and designed, blah, 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 blah. It's a good thing I don't talk for a living, right? As you guys are listening to my voice in your head. Sorry. Where are the things that you've already decided, judged, concluded, or resigned yourself that can't change? Okay? And, you know, and this came up for me a couple of weeks ago, which is actually what kind of brought up the topic for the show. But, so let's look at like what we've decided, what we've decided is possible to change, okay? So when we have something that we know we want to change, what happens? We get mad, we get frustrated, we get anxious, we get like, something must change, and so we get all this power and kind of potency and sometimes force behind it, and that's a whole different show. But we have this, we get frustrated, we go, and often we can use that frustration as an indication of something has to change here. And I'm trying to remember what Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he said, the dissatisfaction, I think it was dissatisfaction, is basically the awareness of something different that we haven't chosen yet, right? So frustration can be the same way. Frustration can be this isn't how it's supposed to be. It could be something different, right? It tends to have a lot of swear words or anxiety or this will change, damn it, move to it, right? Okay, so we know what those changes look like. We know what those changes are asking for and demanding. The ones I'm talking about that we have already resigned ourselves that can't change, how often do we have these things and they're silent, okay? The change that we go, yes, this must change, boom, comes with that force, that bravado, that sometimes crying, sometimes whatever. It's like, but this has to change. This is just, something just has to be different here. This has to change, okay? There's always that really like intensity about it, right? But what about those silent ones? What do I mean by those silent ones? Often, if we've resigned ourselves to something that can't change, and so we stop asking questions about it. Literally, we'll stop asking questions about it. And without asking a question, it won't change. The status quo is not changing. And so it becomes a silent fixture in your life, kind of like the chair you're sitting on, or the glasses you're wearing, or the sheets you're sleeping on, something like that. It's like it just becomes a part of who you be. So it's like, how much of who you be have you already decided and judged can't change? And here I'm saying can't change, not won't change, but can't change. Because when you've already decided it can't change, you've resigned yourself and you just leave it at that. And so I looked up the word resign because I like looking up words. We all know this. And what's interesting is the original definition of the word resign is give up, surrender, abandon, submit, relinquish. These are all fun, cheery words, right? And so, but how often does this resign come up? Resign is just the way it is, okay? How often have we done that? Well, that's just the way it is, without even realizing it, because it's the silent ones. I'm asking you to, yes, Patrina, I'm another word nerd like you. Which, by the way, I'm not talking to the voices in my head. I'm actually talking to the chat room. If you've never joined us in the chat room, please do. We have a lot of fun there. We laugh. We say sarcastic things to each other, and often I respond. So if you want to know some of what the other part of the conversation is, check it out. Just go to azen.fm chat room, and you put in a name, any name, hopefully your name, but whatever name you'd like. All right, so where the freak is this coming from? Well, like so much of other topics, is something in my life, okay? So it was so interesting one day. I was making flyers for the Right Body View workshops I have around the world, right? And so I had basically a flyer that needed to be printed back to back. And so it was basically a two-sided flyer. So I needed to make these two files into one, okay? These two PDF files into one PDF. Now, I'm laughing about this now because I can kind of see the ridiculousness of it. So I'm like, oh, crap. How do I make these two files into one so that when I send it to the printers, it's back to back correctly and it's okay and it prints right. And oh, that was so hard. I remember there was a program they used for that, and I can't remember what that was. And, you know, all these things started coming up of like, I think it was about 10 years ago. And I was trying to create a graphic for a friend, and for some reason I was having a hard time combining the files. And somewhere I went, oh my gosh, this is so hard. This is just so hard. And I don't know how to do this. Okay. I actually said, I don't know how to do this. Plain and simple, I don't know how to do it. And I struggled, and somebody else did it, and I jerry-rigged it, and I created it in a different way, more painful, more took longer, and all that kind of fun stuff, right? So I solidified that. In. And then I remember another time my sister was helping me with some graphics, and she took it to the print center, and the print center said, oh, sit down on this computer. This is the only computer you could do this on, and use this program to combine this because you have to type this and do this and blah, 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 blah. And so my sister was able to do it. I just stood behind her going, oh, my gosh, that's so amazing. I can't believe you did that with such ease. Good for you. I'm so glad you're helping me with this because I would have been screwed. Okay. So flash forward to a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sitting here going, oh, crap, I have to combine these graphics. What am I going to do? Literally, I had all this panic, and I said, what am I going to do? It wasn't actually a question. It may have sounded like a question. It wasn't actually a question. I had panicked. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to combine these things. I'm going to flip out, and this is so hard. And so I call my sister, and I'm like, hey, do you remember when you went to the print center, and what was that program that they used that combined the files, and what was that, and how was that, and where, and do you remember? And she's like, oh, no, I don't remember. She's like, oh, crap. And I'm like, well, I guess I could just take it to them and ask them to do it again. But, you know, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I could do it tomorrow, but they really need the file in the morning, blah, 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 blah. So this is what I'm saying. It's the silent thing. Nowhere in there am I actually asking a question. I had resigned that combining graphics was difficult. Okay. I had resigned that combining graphics was difficult because I had a problem with it one time and I didn't know how to do it. Okay. And then somewhere in there of my rant and my scared and my beyonds, which, you know, in Access, beyonds is those things that goes beyond all thoughts, feelings, beyond all insanities. It literally is like you freeze. Okay. So a beam of light goes through the beyonds, and all of a sudden it hits me. I went, wait a minute. I know how to combine two PDFs. I know how to combine two PDFs. I do it every day. I make contracts. I make one sheets. I make manuals. I make all of this kind of stuff every day. I actually have two PDF programs on my Mac. One PDF program on my Mac, two PDF programs on my PC. I know how to combine files. And it hit me. I had already given up that I would ever know how to combine graphics. I didn't have, until a few weeks ago, I didn't have the capacity to change the variables and see the difference, okay? Word documents, sure, no problem. I can do anything with that. You want me to format that? You want me to combine them? You want me to make a PDF? You want me to make an editable PDF so that you can add like a signature and stuff? Sure, no problem. Then, holy crap, it's a graphics. I don't know what it is. I know it's a PDF. How do you combine graphics? I don't know how to do this. Really. These are the silent things I'm talking about. So I laughed with myself, okay? This is another thing, you guys. Don't be a bully. Don't sit there and go, I'm such a dumbass. I can't believe I didn't remember that. I'm so stupid. Just be like, wow, I am an amazing creator of insanity. Woo! But yeah, so it's like I had already given up that I would ever know how to be able to combine graphics and that other people needed to do it for me. And it was hard. It was difficult that I couldn't even see that I was doing it daily. literally daily, folks, in Word documents. Okay? So that's where I came up with this. What change have you already given up on? Okay? We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to explore this a little bit more. I have a few more examples and a few tools to help you see. It's like, what change have you already given up on that you're not even willing to ask questions about? Okay? All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. We're on A2Zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back, everybody. This is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. And today we're talking about those silent things that you've already decided and judged that you can't change. You resign yourself to the point where it becomes as comfortable as your favorite pair of sheets that you just slip into and go, yes, that's the way it is. And, and so many of us are actually still looking for the answer. And so just because it's an answer we don't like doesn't mean it's not a comfortable answer that we go for, okay? So for me, making that two-sided graphics PDF was hard, not completely discounting all the other things I can do with Word document PDFs, okay? So it's interesting. And so, yes, to finish the story, I combined the two files as I laughed and chuckled and giggled into one file and successfully sent it out and have done numerous times again since then, laughing each time. Okay? So, Truth, what change have you already given up on? Okay. So why do I talk about this on a body show? Well, glad you asked. Is there anything with your body that you've already given up on? You've already resigned that can't change? Anybody else go to DNA? It's just in the genes. Or you have a fight against it. And notice that point of view. It's like, well, you have, you guys have heard me say the Carter fat genes, okay? So here's where that fine silent line thing comes in. Okay, so let's look at this. Carter fat genes, or whatever else you guys have that, heart disease or bad knees or gray hair, whatever it is, something in your family's DNA that you've gone, that's just the way it is. You might not have said that's just the way it is. You might have said, well, that shit's not happening to me. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. This is that silent aligning, the silent, you're not willing to ask questions about it, because you may be sitting there going, okay, so what would it take to not, you say like, okay, so what would it take to not have gray hair? Or what would it take to not be the effect of Carter fat genes? Okay, something like that. If you look at that, you've already resigned yourself to that Carter fat genes are inevitable and you have to overcome it. Okay? So you're not actually asking questions like, truth, is this changeable? Things like that. You're going to, what would it take to overcome this? You might use different words, but that's the energy. What would it take to overcome this? What's the underlying point of view here? Is that you've decided and judged and resigned yourself that it has to happen, so you have to struggle against it. Okay? I can hear all of your heads pinging out there going, what? So, everything that is, try not to create it, please. Right, we're on good, bad, apocalypse, boys, beyond. Which is an example of the Access Consciousness verbal clearing statement, which basically you have to do is be willing to go, that's changing. I don't even know what you said, but yes, I'm willing to choose something different, to look at something different, yes. And then go from there. Okay, if you want to learn all about it, go to theclearingstatement.com and you can read all about it. Okay? So, yes, somebody in the chat room, yes, that's what I've been doing. Overcome, assume, struggle, yes. Because anytime you go, like, with your body and your Carter fat genes, when I first started this, I was like, okay, what would it take to not be the effect of Carter fat genes? Underlying point of view, I'm already the effect of it, so I have to do something to not be the effect of it, while at the same time energetically telling the universe, I'm going to be the effect of this, so let me fight, let me struggle to overcome the effect of this. Instead of actually going to the source and going, truth, will the Carter fat genes affect me? Truth, is there such thing as the Carter fat genes? Truth, is that just somebody's point of view that was bought a long time ago and it doesn't have anything to do with my body? Okay, cool. Yay. Anytime you're trying to overcome something, you're resigning yourself to what it is you're struggling to overcome. Okay? Everything that is trying not credit, right, wrong, good, bad, voice, and beyond. Oh my gosh, there is so much energy on this. You guys are already like, has she switched to a different language? I don't know what she's saying. Cool. So let's look at this, a little bit different way. My very first Access Consciousness class, Foundation, with Dr. Dane here, co-creator of Access Consciousness, what seems like a million years ago. Okay? And there was this gentleman in there, and I remember this so well because it was one of those moments where it helped to give me information for the creation of my future and other people's futures. Okay? So there was this guy in here who was asking, in the class, who was asking Dane a question. And he just went into it. He's like, oh, there's just this really dark place that I get into, and I just can't get out of it, and, it just keeps coming up, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. I can never get out of it, and blah, blah, blah. And he just kept saying things like that. And, Dane looked at him and went, so, truth, are you in that dark place right now? And the guy's laughing. He's like, no, today's great, da-da-da. And Dane goes, oh, so then I guess there's a way out of it, isn't there? Which just stopped him dead silent. He just went, oh. Okay. So let's look at that. He had already decided that there wasn't a way to get out of it. So much so that when he wasn't in that dark place, he couldn't even perceive that he was out of it or be able to make a change or be able to even know the way out of it. He had already decided and resigned himself that the dark place was just something that was a part of him. It was who he be. It was, like I said, as comfortable as slipping into your favorite pair of sheets, right? It's like, let me slide into that dark place because it's just a part of me. It's who I am. I have to, that dark place that we all go. We all do that some days. You know, we listen to that song and we get melancholy. And then it's a part of who I am. I am working at it every day, and it's a part of who I am. Okay? Yes. So, truth. What have you already resigned your body and your life to? Everything that is, times a gazillion, destroy and uncreate, please. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, I'm sure it's boys, and beyond too. Beyond. So truth. What have you already resigned your body and your life to? Okay? And remember the definition of resign, those warm, fuzzy things like give up, surrender, abandon, submit, relinquish. Right? It just makes me want to go, yay, I'm going to take over the world as I sit here in the corner and rock. Okay? So truth, what have you already resigned your body and your life to? Everything that is, times the gazillion, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate, please? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on iron shorts, boys, and beyond. Okay? So what have you resigned yourself to? Family genes, like we talked about, not being smart, not able to be heard, not being able to get ahead, not being able to make a change. Okay? And yes, as the brilliant Katrina said, what stories are you hanging on to? Okay? So we're going to take a quick little break. And when we do, take this 2 minutes, 1 minute, whatever it is, the time isn't real, and whatever it is in there, to start to look at this. What have I resigned me to, my life to, my body to? You know, not being smart. If you already decided and judged that you're not smart, so you resigned yourself to functioning from that lack, okay? Not being able to be heard. Well, you know, they can't hear me, whether it's an audible can't hear me or when I speak, nobody seems to get me. And so you resign yourself to having that problem to overcome, okay? Not being able to get ahead, not being able to have money, not being able to have enough time in the day to get things. It's like, what have you already resigned your body, your life, and you to, okay? So take a look at that during the commercial break. And when we come back, if you guys in the chat room want to share any it, or I can try to pick it out of your head. But I also, by the way, good news, have some tools to help you actually begin to see some of this and the changes and the possibilities and help you get clarity about what you have already resigned yourself to be aware of those silent corners, those silent lines that we've drawn for ourselves in the sand, okay? All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. We're on A2Zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at a2zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You, a different type of radio show, and with me, your host, Donnielle, who, is just a different type of person. I will admit it, but you guys, I have so much fun playing with you guys. When I was in Seattle recently for the Access Consciousness Advanced Body class with the founder, Gary Douglas, I got to actually have dinner with an old friend of mine. We used to be in TV together. We used to produce together. And she's at the Fox station there in Seattle. And so I got to see her, and we figured out it had been, 10 years or 13 years or something since we'd seen each other, at least 10. It's been a while. And I definitely hadn't seen her since I was starting with Access. And it was really interesting to have kind of a mirror isn't the right phrase, but just, this is it, to see her in her universe, who she knew me as 10, 13 years ago, and not from a place of judgment, her or me, but just from that, picking up the image of who I was then to who I am now, and the changes that sometimes are on the surface that seem so different for people, because how many of us are just, it's like, I've always been me, right, but how much more of me I'm actually willing to show now. And it was really a gift to spend that time with her. And we had a great time, and she looked at me and she's like, "You've done well, haven't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm very happy." Which was interesting because that's not what she meant. But I'm like, "Yeah, I'm happy," which, is this amazing thing. And, you guys, and I get, part of me being happy is being able to play with all of you guys. I get to travel the world facilitating these workshops. My next workshop is in Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey. 10 years ago in TV, I would have never imagined I was going to Istanbul, Turkey to facilitate a class on consciousness, on bodies, on change, on being happy, on laughter. Wow, and I have such a good time. And, I receive some amazing feedback from people, which still just blows my mind. I'm so honored. Every time I get an email that says people like, "You touched me, you helped me do this." And, I'm so grateful for all of that. I'm so grateful for you who are choosing. And I'm so grateful for all of you who tune in each week, whether now or later, and listen to these shows. We have a great time. Okay. So today we're talking about what change have you already given up on? Okay. Have you ever had something that was so beyond what you thought you could change that you aren't even willing to look at it, ask questions about it? Is there truly no way out or no way to change it? And I said in the description, one thing I've discovered is that as long as you're willing to look at it, ask questions, anything is changeable. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, well, I thought I already got rid of this, and I did a show on it a couple months ago. I thought I already got rid of this. Why the hell is it coming up again? And it's like, sometimes there's nuances. Can one pod POC get rid of everything? Sure. Have I ever seen that happen? No, because we're cute that way. Some of us still like some of the little limitations or what insanities that we're holding on to that define us, right? Like me with that silly thing about the graphics in the PDF. I don't know how to combine graphics. Sure, I can do anything with Word documents and PDFs, but I don't know how to put graphics together. So it's like if you're willing to change your point of view, this is why Gary Douglas, founder of Access, always says, if you have no point of view, you can have all points of view, okay? And what that means is, like, if I had no point of view that something simple, like I'm really good with Word documents and PDFs, turning Word documents into PDFs. Well, that sounds like a great thing, right? Why would I want to destroy and uncreate anywhere that I have decided, judged, or am aware that I'm good with Word documents into PDFs? Because if I've decided and judged it's only Word documents into PDFs, when I have a graphic that I need to turn into a PDF, it's a beyond for me. It's like, oh, if it was only a Word document, I would know what to do. Hello, Donnielle. It's a file. You know what to do with files, So when you change your point of view or have no point of view, so much more is possible, okay? So during the break, I asked you to start looking at what have you already resigned your body and your life to, okay? And some people have, in one person in the chat room, apparently the slow metabolism of aging is some baloney story I have bought. Right. Aging, all those things, the fun thing that come with aging is something that we have, that silence of, well, that's just the way it is and you have to overcome it. And let me prove my potency by actually overcoming it instead of just going, you have no power over me. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie in it. I know it's like a teenager saying, I still love it, okay? But it's so funny because in there, Keisha, one of my favorites, yay. Yeah, in there, when I originally saw this a million years ago when it came out, she has this, the main character is this teenage girl who plays this play act, this play thing, this role, this dialogue. There we go, that's the word, this dialogue. And, she's like, through dangers untold and hardships unnumbered, I can't believe I still remember this, that's funny. Beyond the Goblin City to take back that which you have stolen, blah, 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 blah. But her last line she can never remember, which is, you have no power over me. Not just, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to resist, but just, you have no power over me. I don't have to resist you. I don't have to overcome you. You have no impact on my life. Okay? And this is what I'm talking about. These are the silent things of what have you already resigned to overcome? What have you already resigned to say, oh, well, that's just the way it is? Okay? Like aging. Where have we resigned that aging is something we have to overcome in this? Like the lady in the chat room was talking about, that, what was it that, I can't remember, it's up there somewhere, but, that weight gain, slower metabolism, that kind of stuff. And so having more difficulty moving, things like that. So it's like, what if you could just look at that and go, I don't have to overcome it. You actually have no power over me. Okay? I am a potent mofo, and you have no power over me. Okay? And not from that place of like, you have no power over me because I'm stronger than you. Because you got to watch that. What's the underlying point of view? You're underneath. You're going, I'm going to show to you how strong I am, that you have no power over me, because somewhere you've resigned yourself that they have a power to influence me. Okay? A lot of times this stuff comes with ease. Like in the movie, I'll pull the clip and do it on the radio page or something like that so you guys can talk about it. Because the first time she does it, she's like, you have no power over me. Ha! And then the second time at the end of the movie, she's like, there's just an ease of, wow, yeah, you have no power. There's a strength in there, but there's not that forcing, that trying to overcome the point of view you've already bought. Okay? Everything that brings up story and credit. Because I'm not really sure it's ways to be honest. All right, let's get to some of these tools. So, truth. Honestly, the first question is truth. What have you already resigned your body and your life to? Have you? Right? Okay. And then, obviously from there, it's like, if I was not resisting and reacting, aligning and agreeing with this, what is possible? Okay. If I was not aligning, agreeing, or resisting and reacting, because that's what you're doing. You align and agree, you resist and react. You align and agree that the Carter fat genes are something I have to overcome. Okay, align and agree. Resist and react. I have to overcome this. I will be stronger. It will not affect me. Okay, alignment and agree, resistance, reaction. That's why we put them together. Okay, if I wasn't resisting, reacting, aligning, and agreeing to this, fill in the blank, whatever it is, what else is possible? What choices do I have? Okay, so and then starting and create everything that brings up, right? And then who has additional information for me? Okay, this is pretty much a good tool for anything. Who has additional information for me? Which is part of communicating with your body. Where can you see this? Body, tell me where to find this, and then you read that random article. Okay, things like that. And then one of my favorites that makes me laugh, and I use this one with myself a lot. And it actually helps me get to the place of to see a different point of view, to see something that I might be stuck on. I might have used this when I was laying on my bed. I swear to goodness, I was laying on my bed. I might have used this when I was laying on my bed going, oh my gosh, I have to submit these graphics tonight. I don't know how to combine these graphics. Maybe if I submit it in 2 piles and I can tell them that they just, maybe I can ask them there's enough space on the notes to where they can combine it for me, because, I don't know, maybe I could call them first thing in the morning, and what time do they get up? And oh my gosh, well, right? The random babble of insanity that sometimes we do that we don't that we don't acknowledge for the brilliant creation it is at times. Okay, so what did I ask myself to actually help me to see a different point of view here? Here we go. Ready? If I was facilitating somebody else with this, what would I ask them? I know it sounds funny, but it works, guys. If I was facilitating somebody else with this, what would I ask them? Okay? And what was interesting is when that came up, I went, what was interesting is it didn't mean that I came up with another question. Sometimes I do. It's like I come up with a question, but for me, that time, it just seemed to help the fog clear, and I went, PDFs. I know how to create with PDFs. Oh my gosh. Okay? There's something about being willing, because you facilitate yourself as much as somebody else facilitates, as much as you facilitate somebody else, you facilitate yourself, okay? So when you ask, and we're all brilliant facilitators. We all have these amazing awarenesses, and what's interesting is how often do we go to somebody else and go, I can't see my way out of this, okay? Well, sometimes it's in the middle of the night and you don't have somebody else to help you see your way out of it. So this is for me where this question came from. It's like, okay, if I was me and me with somebody else, what would I say to the me that's somebody else that would actually help me see a different point of view and change this here? So that's where this came from. Because if I was facilitating somebody else with this, what would I ask them? Okay? We need to take, thanks, Tom. He said, brilliant, Donnielle. Thank you for that. You're welcome. Comes from my own insanities late at night. All right, we're going to take our last little break. And when we come back, we're going to, I don't know, give more tools, talk more about this, laugh. I know we will laugh because that we generally do on this show. All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You on A2Zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. This is Donnielle, your host. We have a few minutes left, and today we're talking about what have you already decided can't change, so you stop asking questions about it. Sometimes you ask questions to try to overcome it, but not actually about changing it or letting it go. Okay? So, Tom, in the chat room, he said, this has been absolutely no fun. Hope you can step it in the last segment. I will try. And also in the chat room, we were joking about time. We have minutes left and that kind of stuff. And, and it got me to really also looking at where do we resign ourselves with time? It's like everybody in the chat room listening to the show, I know will go, well, yeah, time isn't real. And yet we can do things like, oh, my gosh, I only have 20 minutes before my show. There's no way I can get all of that done. I've resigned myself that time has an effect on me, right? That might have been me 20 minutes before the show. And so I'm just saying I use the tools as well. But yeah, so it's like, where have we already resigned ourselves to time while at the same time trying to overcome time? Everything that is destroyed and created, right, wrong, good, bad, fuck, nature's boys, and the beyonds. Okay? So really do start to look at this. It's like, what have you already resigned your body, your life, and you to? What have you already decided and judged is just a part of who you be? A good thing, a bad thing, whatever it is. Because just like with me when I did that, I'm really good with Word documents into PDFs. On the surface, it seems like a great thing. But I had cut off everything else possible with that talent and capacity. So you throw a different element in like, it's a graphics into a PDF. I don't know how to do that. That's just scary and frightening, and it puts me into a beyond, and somebody else must can do it because I know it's difficult. Really? Okay. I would resign myself that I was good at Word documents, not graphics. Okay. So what have you guys already resigned you, your body, and your life to that if you would just change your point of view a little bit would offer you the clarity and ease that you're actually asking for, okay? And on the radio show event page, I'll put in the Labyrinth clip, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about of that you have no power over me. She's not overcoming the villain at the end. She just looks at him and goes, wow, you don't, wow, okay, no, you don't have to affect me. I don't have to overcome you because you're like a puff of smoke. And in the movie, of course, he literally dissipates, evaporates, and goes poof, gone, and that would be cool too. And who says we can't do that with our limitations? That we have already decided and judged and resigned ourselves to, that is something we have to overcome. What if you don't have to overcome it? Okay? So, and honestly, you guys, try the question. If I was facilitating somebody else with this, what would I ask them? Next time you're in that dark place or whatever it is, you're sad, you're anxious, if I was facilitating somebody else right now, what would I ask them? What would I say to them? What wedgie would I give them? So check it out, okay? And you guys, and tomorrow I have a free Zoom hangout it's for people in Turkey. It's going to be translated into Turkish. So if you guys want to check that out, it might be interesting. It's to let people know I'm coming to Turkey in a couple of weeks to do a Right Body for You workshop. So check it out. It might be funny if you speak Turkish, great. I don't. I have a translator, which I love and adore. But check it out. And you guys also, please do check out some of the workshops that are coming up. There's been a new energy to Right Body for You recently that is just changing and rocking the world, and I am so honored to be a part of that and be able to facilitate these Right Body for You workshops that we have such a good time in. We laugh, we do cry occasionally, we do body processes, and you know what? We change our lives. Yes, we change our bodies, but we also change our lives. And it's not that, you have to have a body problem to come to a Right Body for You class or a life problem or anything. It's just like, nothing has to be wrong for you to desire more. And that's something, have you already resigned yourself to, well, I'm happy, so I really shouldn't ask for anything more? Really? What have you already resigned your life happiness and body happiness quota to? Well, it's not bad. I shouldn't ask for more. Or I have to have, nothing's wrong, so I don't need to do that. Well, yeah. Well, what if you can just choose it and have fun with it? Okay? So please note, to come to a Right Body for You workshop, listen to a show, nothing has to be wrong. It could just be more. Could be the more you're looking for. So check it out. DonnielleCarter.accessconsciousness.com. Email me, Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com, DonnieLle. And you know what, guys? I hope you make it a fun week. Hope you make it a happy week. Enjoy your body because it's enjoying you. And I hope you're back next week because you know what? I will be. And I hope to see you, all of you, there with me. All right? Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm. We hope you and your body will join us.